being in somebody's shoes and just understanding them and that life is too short to apply yourself onto somebody else.
Lily Owens is with us today on Beyond the Game. My name's Mike Lacey, and it's fun. Lily is one of our stars on the softball team. Lily, welcome.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
It's great to have you here. We haven't got to meet each other that much, so I'm going to ask you some questions. You answer freely, and if we need to edit anything, you tell me shut up. But Lily, you came here from Lehigh University in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
How did you get to BYU?
I originally was recruited by Coach Eakin my senior year and freshman year of high school. And then I ended up going to Lehigh just to try to spread my wings a little bit and go kind of far from home, being from California. And I wanted to come back a little closer and try to play on a bigger stage. So Coach Eakin reached out again after high school, and it was just a match made in heaven. So,
well, good.
Yeah.
And it's funny how we connected, because a friend of mine works in the student athletic building. He saw you. I don't know, it's probably your smile.
Thank you.
But he said, Mike, you got to interview this young lady, and so he shared your information with my wife, and he was afraid to share it with me. I don't know why. Yes, you have an infectious smile. But I am very excited because your statistics on the team, when I saw earlier, this was like a month ago, you were batting in the high 300s. You ended up here like at 360 batting average.
Yep.
Who, for example, at BYU, what was the highest batting average?
Our highest batting average was definitely Ilove'a at Brittingham. She was a freshman this year. She's third-team All-American.
Wow.
I think she ended with like a 410 batting average.
And you were at like 361, did I see?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so pretty close. You're hitting about 4 out of 10, and so is she, right?
Yeah.
Now, I saw something funny. You brought up her name.
Yes.
But this was funny, so I'm going to bring it up now.
Okay.
Apparently, you like to trash talk. Is that right?
A little bit.
You don't look like a trash talker.
Just a different person on the field,
I don't know what it is about baseball and softball, but that's part of the game, right?
It is. It is, yeah.
And I used to be part of it. My father was a professional baseball player, and I played baseball from the earliest stages. My parents were disappointed when I chose football, so I knew how to yell and be funny, tease at a baseball game.
Yeah. I'm just a different person when I get on the field, and I like to have fun. And if that's going to be fun, then it's usually what I do.
I'm embarrassed now because anyone else who's maybe not aware of this trash talking mentality would say, man, Lacey's rude. Mm-hmm. Has anyone else come up to you and said, man, Lily, why are you being so rude?
I have some teammates who definitely crack up at some things that I say.
It's fun to loosen people up, right?
Yeah, they definitely enjoy it in like stressful times, or they get a little in their head and they hear it and they just crack up a lot. So,
good.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. Are you aware of our football team?
Yes.
So do you know Will Farron and Sam Vanderhaar? Will was the place kicker, and Sam Vanderhaar is an Australian punter, but he's also the holder.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Sam could be a really good softball or baseball player because to loosen people up, he says that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it just makes you smile, laugh, whatever.
It works.
It does,
it works.
Doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I can't express how difficult it was. Let's say I'm in a little slump and I'm stepping up to the plate against a pitcher who's just, rocketing the ball in there. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of nerves that hit here.
Yeah.
But if one of my teammates back in the dugout goes, hey, Lacey, I don't know, it loosens me up with some kind of funny, It makes the game good.
It does. You got to stay loose.
But I saw here that your teammate, how do you pronounce it? Ilove'a?
Ilove'a.
Ilove'a, Brigham,
Mm-hmm.
she didn't like you chirping at opponents. Is that true? What happened?
Both of us are probably like the top 2 trash talkers on the team.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So not in a malicious way. She's probably one of my best friends. Both of us will go back and forth. We're like, no, I said this and it was funnier than what you said. No, I said this and this was funnier. So we go back and forth on who says the funnier thing.
Competing for, okay.
On who's the better trash talker. Yeah.
Oh, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
You got to come to your games. I'm sorry that I haven't seen any.
Yeah.
It sounds like a really good environment.
It is. It's a wholesome environment and very, very fun.
Compare your experience at Lehigh University. What town in Pennsylvania is that in?
Bethlehem,
Pennsylvania, which is closest to, is it close to Pittsburgh?
It's closer to Philly, so it's probably like an hour outside of Philly, hour from Newark.
It's a long way from LA or from San Bernardino.
Mm-hmm. Very long.
But and the weather's kind of interesting.
Yes.
In the winter.
Yes.
So you're kind of used to this winter weather that you have to really get into your softball season early.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, compare your experience at BYU now in the Big 12 with your experience at Lehigh.
I think
because you're a transfer. We haven't even talked about that. I'm sorry. But
yes.
Compare those.
It's definitely a night and day experience. So BYU being in the Big 12, this is Power 4. Everybody was the best on their travel ball team, was the best in high school, has the accolades to back up how great they were and how great they still are. So I definitely realized pretty quick my first year that there is no days off. And I remember one of my coaches in high school telling me that certain levels are games of checkers, but Big 12 is chess. And everything that you do is calculated. Everything you do is taught. Like, there is no days off. You're not going to just go out and kind of play and do whatever. You have to really be focused on every pitch and win the next pitch and continue to battle every time you get on the field.
When how many starting pitchers will a team have?
So we had 3 pitchers this year who kind of rotated through our 3-game series.
I assume that softball, when those ladies are flinging that ball so fast, how fast are they throwing it?
We kind of average up in 65s. I think the fastest we faced this year was throwing about 72.
72 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you told me that the fastest softball pitch ever was something like 79 miles an hour.
Yep, this year.
All right, now in baseball, those guys are like 66 feet further. Are that far away from the batter. A baseball is a smaller ball. You're throwing it overhand. I don't know if that matters a whole lot, but that ball's coming in at sometimes 90, even 100 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But you ladies are that much closer. It's only 60 feet away.
Yep.
And so that ball comes in. I've stood up against a lady fast pitch thrower.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was in there before I was ready.
Yeah.
So how do you do it? And the ball's coming up at you because she's releasing it from down here.
Yeah. It's hard to explain. You just do it for so long and
not a big deal.
No. After a while, you're like, okay, just another day, another pitch.
ESPN's been showing, and I watched a little bit in the last couple days, some of the softball games.
Mm-hmm.
And those are fascinating. And it is. That ball comes in at you so fast, not the speed of a baseball, but she's that much closer. So that ball is just on top of you. But it's fun that you can react and hit that ball just like anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, not just like anybody, but any of the top batters.
Yeah.
And your stats, if I can find them here, you had a game-winning hit in a game against Utah recently. Tell us about that, because apparently BYU came from behind 2 games in a row.
Mm-hmm. So that was our first game that we played, and we were down in the 6th, and we came back and tied the game.
And a softball game is a 7-inning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So came back and tied the game, held the tie, and then went into extra innings. And when I had came up to bat, we had a runner on, I believe, 2nd and 3rd, and there was no outs. So all I had to do was kind of hit the ball somewhere. Didn't matter where, just somewhere. And we won.
What was your count? What was the count you had? Or did you hit the first pitch? Do you remember?
I think it was a 2-0 count. So I was in a pretty good spot.
You were in a good spot.
Yeah.
2 balls, 0 strikes. The pitcher has to come in with something.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have a lot. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Do you like inside pitches or outside or up, down the middle, high or low? Where's your favorite zone to hit?
Personally, I like inside pitches. I think statistically, I'll probably say I like outside pitches.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you pull an inside pitch? Namely, as a right-handed hitter, do you try to hit that to left field or?
Yeah.
Okay. And the outside pitch, are you going to the opposite field with that or still trying to pull?
Yes. I think this year as a leadoff batter, my job was kind of just like to put the ball somewhere and get on. So an outside pitch was a lot easier to do that on. But so I like hitting home runs too. So if I got an inside pitch.
Listen to this. I mean, 52 hits, 47 runs, 6 home runs in 49 games.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You said something that was interesting because baseball and softball, summer, you devote all of your time to that, you and your family.
Yep.
So you talked about travel teams.
Yes.
Tell us about what it was. You're from the San Bernardino area?
Yes.
So you had to travel a lot.
We did. I remember my senior year was our harder travel year. We ended up going from Oklahoma straight down to Indiana. And we were gone for like 2 weeks, and then
Oklahoma down to Indiana.
Or, I'm sorry.
Now we're gonna have to work on the map here. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. So, yeah, you're. So was this by bus, by plane? How did you guys travel?
We flew.
Okay.
And our parents paid for everything. So.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I mean, but you're dedicated to that.
Yeah.
Your mom played.
Yes.
So was the travel in her high school age equivalent, or have things just gotten even busier?
Yeah, they've definitely changed. I don't think my mom was going out of state as often as we were. We spent.
And did your mom grow up in Southern California?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she's an LA girl.
Uh-huh.
But we spent most of the summer out of state playing over the summertime. So she definitely was around with me.
When you go to Oklahoma and then Indiana, I assume you're at tournaments or in championship level.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yeah, week-long tournaments. So 1 week in Oklahoma, week in Indiana, and then I think a week and a half later we went to Colorado. So we were gone a lot.
Wow. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I do. I have a younger brother.
Okay. Yeah. And what kind of ball does he play?
He actually doesn't. He is a track runner.
Have time. Track runner.
Yeah, he runs track at Cal State Fullerton. He runs 400 hurdles. Oh, yeah. So
that's a tough one.
Yeah. Very athletic.
Very. Is he tall?
He is. He's 6'3".
Okay. That helps.
Yeah.
But the 400 hurdles, I was a 440 guy back in a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And the 440 was hard enough, when you're sprinting all the way around, but then you put hurdles in the way. Yeah. You've got to be strong.
Yeah. It's just like he's a glutton for pain, I guess. He just,
And he's at Fullerton.
He is.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Good for him. Yeah. Now tell us how, Lily, you and BYU did this year.
I think we did really well. I think we started out a lot hotter than we had our first year when we were kind of trying to figure out the Big 12 and what it was like to be in such a difficult conference. We had a lot more faith, especially in our returners going into this year. I think we dropped a couple games that we probably should have. Yeah, probably shouldn't have dropped, and it would have put us in a little bit of a better position for postseason. But I think as a whole, in our second year in the Big 12, we definitely did very well.
As far as when you compare all the leagues, the SEC, the Big Ten, there is no Pac-12 anymore, I guess. Yeah. But, the ACC, where does you're in a baseball, outdoor, softball environment. Mm-hmm. Is the Big 12 one of the best leagues, or is the SEC, who's known as the top league in women's softball?
Last year, it was definitely the Big 12. Oklahoma and Texas really were huge competitors. With them moving to the SEC this year, it brought a lot more strength to the SEC. But now, the Big 12 is still extremely good. Yeah, we have a Big 12 team that's in the World Series right now.
Who's that?
Texas Tech.
Okay.
So they're definitely still up there. We definitely show out.
How did you do against Texas Tech?
We did a lot better than we thought we were going to do. We won one of the games. I personally would have liked to do a little bit better, but they have an amazing pitcher who is carrying their team to the World Series, and they have a great team in a whole and great coaching staff. So we definitely did really well. I think we'll do a lot better next year.
I'm curious. I assume that at the NCAA level, there aren't limits to innings that pitchers can pitch, or do they have limits?
Nope.
Okay, so
No limits.
if she has a strong arm and she can keep throwing, then she'll keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And next year, I'm going to come out and cheer for you to beat those Red Raiders
Yes.
or whatever they are.
Yes, exactly.
There's a lot of money down in West Texas, all that oil and gas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they probably can afford the NIL.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's making $1 million in NIL right now. Most high-paid softball player of all time. Yeah.
Wow.
But she deserves it. She's incredible.
Well, what happens? Talk about her then. She's just a great pitcher, but you don't hear a lot about the Women's Professional Softball League. Tell us about that. What are the opportunities for a young lady who plays softball?
As of recently, actually, within the past few weeks, the MLB has signed with the Pro Softball League and are doing a lot of work with them and fundings and things like that. So I think it's become a lot
coming
more
around.
Yeah, it's become a lot more lucrative, and it's a lot more supported. And I think there's going to be a lot of help in the future, and I think it's going to be a really big thing.
Good.
Yeah.
I love that because, I mean, think of the women's WNBA.
Exactly.
You know? And we were a baseball family in my town, but I mean, football and basketball in our culture have always gotten first fiddle. I don't know. It's America's sport, though.
Yeah.
Is women's softball America's sport, too?
In my mind, it is.
Of course.
Yeah.
But this is fun. I mean, what place did BYU take in the Big 12 this year?
I think we finished 6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then next year, you're bringing back a lot of your players?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We do have 5 girls who graduated, and 4 of them were our starters. So
you've got some people to replace.
Yeah. But we had 4 starting graduates the year before, and we were able to fill that and do well. So I think we'll be able to do the same.
This Texas Tech pitcher, I mean, how many NIL people do we have to put together to bring her to BYU?
I don't know. I know Patrick Mahomes is on her deal. So
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a Texas Tech Red.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
A couple of our alums could help out.
All right. So I'm a fan. We hear about NIL, but it hasn't been out there that long. Mm-hmm. And you know that it happens in, the AJ DeBonsas of the world are coming here with amazing things.
Yeah.
And we're excited. I mean, It's fun that this level of participation is coming. But how does that filter to all the other sports? For example, ladies softball, how does NIL help you in your life? Is it significant? You don't have to give us numbers. I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying, how does that affect you?
We've had a couple of deals, but we haven't had a lot. So I think it kind of falls on us personally to try to find our way around and reach out and do things like that. So I have to take a lot on by myself and figure out the landscape and try to do my best to work within it. I think it's a great thing. I think NIL is really important for the athletes. And I think it's really important for female athletes who might not go and play professionally. This is kind of our final stage. So I think it's definitely something that can be very helpful for the rest of us, but it's kind of on us, at least for our team.
It's fun to think of all the alumni of BYU and any school, loyal people that love the university. I hope that there's someone out there who says, man, that Lily Owens, she'd be a good ambassador for my company but that's good to know. Yep. I mean, it's a rough and tumble world out there. It's kind of like that fast curveball that comes into in a little bit too close.
Exactly.
What are your experiences that you've enjoyed the most in your transition here to BYU and with your team?
I think personally the fans. I didn't realize the support that BYU has. And I remember driving in with my mom when I was moving here. And
How did your mom feel about BYU, for example?
She was excited. Actually, my grandfather came and played football here at BYU for a little bit. He didn't last long. He ended up leaving.
What's his name?
Bobby Freschio.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't end up graduating. He stayed for about 2 semesters and then had some family obligations to go home and take care of. So it was a big deal for my family that I came and finished up for him. It's a big joke in my family that I walk like him because I'm pigeon-toed. So everybody makes fun of me and my family.
Say the best sprinters are pigeon-toed.
Yes, and I agree.
Are you fast?
I am.
Did you steal many bases this year?
I didn't have to. We were hitting... Elo had 22 home runs by herself, so I did not have to run a lot this year. So
you don't take the risk. For example, in softball, what are your odds when you go to steal a base? Are you going to do that 80% of the time, or is it a bigger risk than the reward?
I think for us in the beginning of the season, we had more of a plan and an idea to be a little more aggressive on the bases and take some more. But as we started rolling with season, it was kind of like, there's no point to even take the risk.
Why not? Okay, that's what I meant. Okay. Mm-hmm. But you're quick and you're pigeon-toed, so you could.
Exactly.
If we need you on second base, let's go.
Yeah, I'm always ready. Last year, we were kind of struggling when we first hit Big 12 play, and Coach Eakin came to us and was like, what is going to change the mindset for you guys to just play? And our team was full of pranksters and jokesters and things. And we said, we're going to play with candy. So we started getting a bunch of bags of candy. And whenever somebody would do something well, we would pass out candy and we'd have that. So I always have some sort of candy in my bag. We get candy whenever we go to the grocery store for away games and home games. So that's always my little treat.
I wonder if that's going to fit in my diet.
It doesn't fit in mine, but...
That's a good reward. Mm-hmm. And my heavens, I don't care what sport you're playing, even, golf, they still expend a lot of energy too. But you ladies, just to play that sport, to do all the running, to be active, you burn a lot of energy when you're out there doing what you're doing. Says here you're a political science major.
Yes.
And that you have minors in Africana studies?
Yes.
And English.
Correct.
What are your goals for the future?
So right now I'm studying to take the LSAT and then early registrations in December. I'm hoping to apply to some schools in December. And
for law school?
Yes. So I'd like to go to law school and end up in law.
Wow.
Yep.
And what's your dream? What do you want to accomplish?
My dream has always been to be a politician. I've always...
Good luck with that, right?
Yeah. I always get...
No, we need good people there. So don't let me...
No, my head coach, Coach Eakin, always makes jokes about it. I'll say something. I don't remember what it was, one of our last practices, and somebody had said something about hitting, and I was like, well, you just got to look at it a different way. Just do this and do that, and, game on. And he was like, and there's our politician. And I was like, oh my gosh. Or somebody had saran wrapped his office and nobody would tell him who it was. And he was like, you know what? We're going to figure out who this was. And he lined us all up and he said, if you missed this ground ball, you did it. And I said, what is this? We're not innocent until proven guilty. This is what we're doing. And he was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Yeah. He was like, no, line up. And I was like, I don't think so.
I don't know, in our Lacey family, all these boys, and sometimes the daughters, but most of the boys would come together, my sons, and they would play basketball, and sometimes the cousins would be there. Mm-hmm. And, of course, some are older, some are younger, so they called it, what did they call it? Democratic basketball. And it was their way of making it even. So, the older kid could go do some fancy dunk and then they'd come together. No, that wasn't worth it. And if one of the younger kids threw up a ball that hit the bag, he got a point for that, So it was their way of having a handicap system.
Yeah.
And is that what you're doing with your politics? Are you trying to balance things out, or how are we going to change the world for better?
We'll see. I want to go into civil rights law. So that's definitely the main focus and the main goal.
Yeah. Well, Africana Studies, that's interesting.
Yes.
I mean, I went to a school that was very diverse, and I loved it.
Mm.
I and my teammates, I mean, it felt like we really loved each other. And I don't know, there's culture in our country is different by region, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't see it sometimes when even we're there. So I understand there can be bias. But I've also seen bias. My roommate at BYU was African American. I love Danny Frazier, but I saw some of the abuse he got when he'd run on the field representing BYU.
Yep.
And people would call him different names, you know. And I don't know. I knew how strong he was, so it didn't bother me. But I kind of felt bad, like, dang, that isn't right. They don't know him.
Yeah. So
tell me your experiences. BYU is a school that's been sometimes a lightning rod.
Yes.
I mean, it's a university that, as an organization, wants to believe in fairness and love of all people. And yet we're not perfect at that, obviously. So how can we be more civil with each other? Because I tell you what, in our country, it's pretty obvious that sometimes we're not very civil with each other.
Yeah.
And I could hear you trash talking to someone and say, she's not being civil. Yeah. But usually it's more in a teasing nature. How can we be more civil from the political stand? What do you do in your life to be civil with others?
You know, I always was taught, my mom was a single mom, and we grew up super, super Catholic, and her being a single mom to two kids who were half Black wasn't always something that was kindly looked at. And she was...
Even in San Bernardino?
A little bit. We grew up in Chino Hills, so it was predominantly a white area.
Okay.
And I think she really instilled in my brother and I just being in somebody's shoes and just understanding them, and that life is too short to apply yourself onto somebody else. You have...
All right. To apply yourself on somebody else, meaning to think that they're going to think like you?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Sorry.
And she always taught us that love was just number one. And if you could lead your life with love and fairness and kindness, then that is what life is about. And my mom herself is very, very religious and just always taught us that Christ never judged. Christ didn't look upon anybody differently.
And he approached everybody
with love.
With love. And you know, usually it was the high and mighty people that he was saying, you know.
Yeah.
And the people who were being downtrodden or poorly treated were the ones that he even expressed more love toward. Yes,
exactly. And she just was my inspiration and my light, that everything that I do with love. And I'm not perfect, obviously.
Well, you're pretty close, but no, none of us, none of us is perfect. But keep going. I'm sorry.
I try to live her message that she instilled in my brother and I, and just approach everyone with an understanding. That I don't know where you come from and you don't know where I come from and why I am the way I am and why you are the way you are, but I'm going to love you like you are me and I'm you, because there is no bigger gift in life. And I remember her kind of teaching that the gifts that God gives to you are his gifts to you, but what you do for others is your gift to God. So
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that one really, really stuck with me growing up. And my first year here, I did an interview in our DEI department, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And one of the questions that I was asked was, as an African-American woman, like, what was my experience coming to BYU and how did I make that decision? And I had kind of talked about how when I was considering BYU as my number one option when I was in the portal, I got a lot of pushback from family and friends, and I got a lot.
Why would you do that?
Exactly, a lot of unsolicited,
recommendations.
Yeah, to go anywhere else.
Yeah,
and to stay far away, and all these things, and I couldn't, and I'm here. And I haven't experienced anything straight that I thought was an issue. I've really experienced a lot of love and compassion, and that was how I was raised. So that was something that was very, very common here, and I enjoyed it. And, I think that that's something that I don't know if a lot of people who aren't from or don't go to BYU, aren't from this area. Me coming in as an outsider, I didn't know either. I only knew negatives about the community when I came here. And I had a very, very quick turnaround of how I viewed things because of how everybody treated me when I got here. I was treated with nothing but love and respect. And I really admire Brian Santiago, and he makes an effort every time he sees me to tell me that, he's proud to be on the same team as me, and that really makes me feel important. And it's really special that even, our AD down to, everybody in the SAB, when I walk by every morning, say good morning. And, it's just a loving community.
It feels that way, doesn't it?
It does.
I played tennis with Brian's brother, Mark, and I know Brian, and they're competitive guys.
Mm-hmm.
They would be trash talking if they were on the ball field with you.
Definitely.
And then after the game, they'd be the first ones to give you a hug. And so that's good to know, because this transition of our athletic director is a big deal.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm very, very glad it was Brian.
And I'm glad that you're representing BYU. I know that no environment is perfect,
Mm-hmm.
And these DEI issues are being attacked nationwide. Maybe sometimes rightly, but often wrongly,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not smart enough or aware enough to even know all those issues. So my question to you, Lily, when you come up against somebody who is biased or even just a little unfair,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to treat them with love because your mom taught you that,
Mm-hmm.
and you've had good experiences with that, how do you do that when you feel, maybe you even might feel, I don't want to use hatred's a tough word, but when people feel that anger, whatever it is, I don't know what it is, why, but how do you come back with love to that?
That is always the most difficult part for me, because I am just a very hot-headed individual.
Well, you're a ball player. Yeah. Come on.
Thank
come
you.
on.
Yeah, exactly. So I really, when something like that happens, because it does, and it has, I just have to really internalize what is being said and just kind of tell myself, like, what they're saying isn't a direct attack to hurt you. What they're saying is what they believe.
Yeah.
And everybody's entitled to their own beliefs. And, I try to approach everything with just kindness and civility, that if we can have that open dialogue and that conversation, it just gives me more of an opportunity to, share my love and my compassion with others. And maybe it'll get through to them and maybe it won't. But at the end of the day, if I can share that certain things aren't an attack on people, I'm a supporter of DEI. I don't think, it's an attack on people. And I think maybe that's where people get really nervous about, because it feels like it might be an attack on people. And I fully am aware to that. And I think that's what's the hard part about people accepting it, is that it feels like it might be a personal attack, when in actuality, if it's done right, it's not.
In fact, my experience, and again, this is just my experience, so right or wrong. But again, I came from a very diverse high school, town community, Rancho Cordova, California. And then I came to BYU, and BYU hadn't had many Black or African-American players on the team through that point. Some enterprising, hard, good people. But we were developing a team that was more diverse back. Speaking of football, and even in basketball, started having teams that weren't just from Utah. And back then, 50 years ago or 40 years ago, Utah was a pretty white place, And my experience was, I don't know if it was a belief system that caused these folks, because these were good people from little towns in Utah or Idaho, but they didn't know. It was a fear. It was a fear. I don't care if our skin is black or white or red. We're all human beings. We're all children of God. And so, Lily, I guess what I'm asking is, when you get up to these high levels and people are maybe fighting against the very civil rights things that you're trying to help us become a better people with, sometimes it's fear.
Yes.
It's not belief as much as, I don't know, so I'm going to fight it.
Yeah, definitely. I did a lot of work with our sports psych this year. And one of the things that she had taught me that I brought into, my everyday was that when you get upset and you get nervous and you get kind of more of an aggressive side of you, it's just a fight or flight to something that's new and something that you're not in control of, and that we are functioning and our brains are wired to be uncomfortable when we don't have agency of what's going on. When we don't have control of things that we feel that we should, like our own lives, we kind of tend to fall into a fight. Yeah, exactly. So that's definitely where I think a lot of the maybe disconnect and dislike for things like this comes into play. It's not always a hatred or, it's a deeper belief that people have. I think it's kind of a fight or flight issue as well, that it's something new and it's something that people don't always accept because it's something that's hard to change and it's not always the easiest to explain and to work through. So I definitely think that's where a lot of the fight or flight and the pushback comes from. But I think that, an open-minded and caring approach is something that really needs to be believed in.
And if we're trying to be more like, your mom's Catholic beliefs or the university's, the Church of Jesus Christ of God, if we're trying to be followers of Jesus Christ, that's who we're going to try to emulate.
Exactly.
And I might say something silly and offensive only because you're different than me and I'm different than you. And Eli and every single human being, we're all different.
Yep.
Lily, I so appreciate. What would you like to share with our Cougar faithful, but the world at large? I mean, it's exciting to think of your future, your desires to make the world a more civil and happy and good place. But also a future here, the next year in softball. What would you like to share with us as far as your most important thoughts or thoughts to finish up this conversation?
I had a conversation with Coach Gordon Eakin a few weeks ago during our exit meetings, and we had just talked about giving BYU a chance. And it was more on just sometimes BYU gets caught in stigmas and things like that. And
he said that you and he were having this conversation individually or as a team?
Together, individually.
Individually.
Yes. So
interesting.
Just him and I and our assistant coach, Coach Allie.
Sure.
And just giving BYU a chance that it gets caught up in some things that aren't always right and, negative light to things, but it's a beautiful place. Visually it's gorgeous. The field is beautiful and, you can't ask to play on a better field than BYU's. And the school itself, the education, the people here, the fans and the support. Like I was at Walmart a few weeks ago and some little girls recognized me, and I was at Provo Airport going home for Christmas and some of the little girls asked to take a picture with me.
Really?
Yeah, I felt like a celebrity.
Do you wear your swag or?
No, I didn't have anything BYU on. I was just going home and I had a sweatsuit on.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, BYU is a beautiful place and it's a beautiful community.
It is a beautiful place. But my heavens, our country is a beautiful place. The world is a beautiful place. But we can make it better. And it sure feels like you're on the way. But that's exciting. Coach Eakin has a good vision. You obviously have a good vision. What would you tell other young ladies like you, whether they're going on the track team or the softball team, about going to universities, playing this level of sports? What other advice would you give?
The advice that I would have wanted in their shoes at their time for myself probably would have been that to be where your feet are. It just take every day as the day itself. Looking into the future is just, it's a thief of joy, and fear is the thief of joy. And if you can look through every day, one day at a time, I think that would have changed my perspective and on things a long time ago that I wish I would have had then, but I have now. And it's really shifted a lot of things in a positive direction for me.
That's what experience does for us, doesn't it?
Yep.
Well, this experience with you has been very enlightening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you being with us on Beyond the Game.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching another episode of Beyond the Game. Remember to click here to subscribe and click here to watch our recent videos. Also, please follow us on social media. And remember, go Cougs!